What's up, guys? My name is Adriel Rivera, and I make music in my shed. With me today is somebody else who also makes music in my shed, inventor of the iPhone and rapper Tegan James Pres Washington.
Here it is, guys. The new iPhone is coming out soon. Yeah, hope you love it.
So today we're gonna be talking. About the lyrics and visualizer behind my song "Losing My Mind." Last week we talked about the production, and a little bit backstory about the song, and today we're covering the rest of it, which is the lyrics and visualizer. And so, how are you doing this fine afternoon?
Wow. I mean, man, we haven't seen each other in a minute, bro, but I'm good, bro. Life has been good. You know, feeling good.
Right. Thank you.
Slowly losing my mind, of course.
I don't know why I said thank you, but
You're welcome.
yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
How about me? I had good. This bro does not care about what I did today. I had some coffee this morning. It's over here.
Dang.
It was pretty decent. And it's coffee that's like I use fat-free milk that was higher in protein, so I got like a good amount of protein from this coffee, which is as like the milk is like the creamer, you know. So
You're doing it right.
thank you, hitting those macros. So let's just jump straight into the song.
Let's
I guess
just
the visualizer. Let's go over this visualizer. This is a visualizer we recorded. You helped me record this visualizer, which we'll talk more about. But we both had a hand. I mean, that's usually how most of my videos have gone, where we both had a hand in making it. And so this is one of those. We recorded this probably July, like mid-July of 2022, I think is when we recorded this one.
Wow.
Losing My Mind visualizer. Let's look over it, guys. Sheesh.
There it is.
Oh, Deadpool trailer. Anyway, that's a visualizer. Yeah, no, I mean, this is one of like the simpler things that we've done in terms of like music videos and stuff like that, but it's still honestly one of my favorite visually just things that oh, oops, I did not mean to do that. One of my favorite things that we have done though, you know.
Yeah.
I think it looks pretty dope. And this was all done on the old camera. You know, we have the Sony FX30 now, which we've talked about this before on the podcast. How we have this camera, we upgraded it. I upgraded it. Yeah. So
I didn't fork over the money for that, bro.
No. so I loved the new camera. Looks so good, but again, it just goes to show what you know what you're doing, or at least like have an idea of what you're doing. You can make pretty good stuff with what you got. And not that the old camera was bad, but like it's definitely not as good as what we got now. But I was still able to make something pretty decent. But yeah, that's the visualizer.
So with the visualizer here, I mean, I think similar to how we were talking in the last podcast, like you had a vision for what you wanted the song to sound like, and I think that like this looks like that.
Like the sound.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
And I was wondering how particularly did you have it planned for like how you were gonna color this and like the grainy effect and like the film effect? Like, did you know from the start like, all right, this is how it's gonna look, and I need him to shoot it like this so it looks like this?
Yeah. So I will say the grainy effect is something that I just really liked across the board on a lot of things. Back then, I did do it a lot on a lot of songs because I feel like that effect, just the retro-ness, fits a lot of my songs.
Yeah.
Not that I make retro music, but I have a lot of indie, sound. Like it's indie music. A lot of my songs have indie sound to it. So
yeah.
I think it fits. But I tried dialing back on it because not everything needs to have that. However, this is one of those that did.
Yeah.
Because the concept of the song it's like a retro indie song. And so coming into it, yeah, I knew I was going to color grade it this way. I knew I wanted the graininess of it. And also like right here, as you can see, like visually with when it came to the Spanish part, having the text be this like retro effect of just color wheel, like or like not color wheel, but like a rainbow going through the color wheel. Like I purposely came in here with a vision to make it this retro style looking thing.
Yeah.
Something I want to point out too is that I remember when we were filming this, we had talked about we were trying to get this like at golden hour. It was a cloudy day, so unfortunately we didn't get it the way that I originally had envisioned it. It still looks really good though. But it was dark. It was getting pretty dark. I remember that. And so one thing that ended up kind of working out though was that because it was getting darker, the footage was getting more grainy because we had to compensate with bringing up the ISO, which makes it look like digitally more grainy.
Yeah.
But the grain adds to the effect, I feel. Maybe it's just me coping.
Yeah, I mean it could be.
But I do think it came out really good, and
yeah.
I think a lot of people loved how it looked like as well.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of it. So
yeah, me too. I was specifically gonna point out like how dope I think this looks, especially when you because there's the light in the background that is going through the different colors and then seeing all the different colors here and everything. Like it really is cool, and I love like the font that you went with for that. Like yeah, it's dope. It's dope.
Yeah, speaking of like the different colors and stuff, we do, like you pointed out, there's that lamp in the background that has all the colors going on and things like that. So this lamp like is not plugged in or anything like that. Obviously, being in the middle of just like a grassland, you can't really plug in electricity, right? So I brought my two Aperture MCs. One of them is lighting up the background right now. But I brought both of them, put them into my lamp that we had in the living room. And actually, after this music video, the lamp ended up ripping because of the music video. So my lamp, it's still in the living room, but it's ripped. So we just have it facing the other direction.
There you go.
My dad wasn't too happy about that, but he knows the drill. It was for my video, and it wouldn't have been the same without it. So
very true.
but yeah, it's a paper lamp, so it's very not flimsy. Well, flimsy. It's flimsy.
Fragile.
It's fragile. My guitar's in the background there too. And there's like a chair. I didn't play the guitar at all in the video, but I wanted to make some sort of like set. I think it would have been like, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Reason being, it's just I thought it would be cool. Speaking of set though, in location, I remember driving past this spot where it's just big field with huge power lines.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the power lines that much in the video. I think so. I generally just can't remember, even though we just watched it. But
you can see it a little bit because I was looking for that too. Because like I know that they're there because I was also there and live there.
Right. Because you filmed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's just I've driven past this spot before, and there's like just a field of just huge power lines going down the entire way, and so I thought like that would be kind of cool to film there because I had gotten the idea from somewhere. I don't know where. It could have been a music video, it could have been just like pictures that I've seen online.
Yeah.
I really don't remember how, but I know it was inspired by something in the power, like, seeing something with power lines.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be really cool to set up there. And I wanted to like originally like make it look cooler, as in like have like a cool chair, it's just like a cool props to make it look almost like a small living room.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously budget comes to that, like, and also portability, like what can we bring in our cars. It's not like we can just haul a bunch of stuff. And also another thing is like low-key, I don't even know if we were allowed to shoot there.
Well, yeah
like we went there towards night, and I think it was on a weekday too, so like, nobody's gonna be there on, or was it a week? I don't know when we shot it, but I was just confident nobody was gonna be there. I've seen trucks that go there to work, do maintenance on the lines,
right? So
like I don't know if we were allowed to be there. I think I've also seen like not barricades, but like they cut it off sometimes. So I don't know if anybody's really allowed to be there. It was muddy that day too. I just remember that, just throwing that out there. Not that it relates to anything.
I remember that.
It was muddy that day. but yeah, like I was like, it's gonna be a cool video, so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm not hurting anybody. It's not like, causing any, I'm not vandalizing anything.
Right. Right.
I'm just setting up and then leaving.
Yeah.
Leaving, and so, but yeah, I think taking risks like that though are very important. You got
to.
Especially as an artist, like to make the best visuals that you can. You have to, take those risks. Obviously, like this isn't like a high risk necessarily.
Yeah.
It's not like if we got caught, we would go to jail or anything like that. At least I would assume we wouldn't.
No, that's what I said that the other day, bro. I was like, I don't know if I should shoot here, and I was like, I'm not gonna go to jail. Like the worst thing that's gonna happen is somebody's gonna come out and be like, don't shoot here.
Exactly.
And you're just gonna move on.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And so, I mean, we did it, and we got a good shot. And there's been other times too where I've seen it's just smack the table.
Yeah. Whoops.
There's been other times where like I've seen cool locations. There's like a time where there's this really cool like wooded area behind a church, but it was attached to the church. So I asked the church if I could shoot there, because since it was so close to the church and I had to pull up in my car, I didn't want to seem sus, like if there were gonna be people there. So, and actually, low key, I was gonna shoot there, without like asking, but I pulled up their cars and I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. So I did end up asking, which I'm glad I did, because then I got my answer, and they were actually pretty like helpful. They're like, yeah, we'll see, like we'll bring it up to like the people above us and like try to get you, because like I filled out a form and everything like that to get permission to film there. But ultimately I didn't get to film. That's for the Old Man video. We didn't get I didn't get to film there for that, so I filmed somewhere else. But regardless, if I didn't ask though, like it doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to go out and film in these places. It doesn't hurt to ask to film in these places. Like you just gotta do it. You just gotta pull the trigger and do it.
Yeah. Note on the set decoration thing. Yeah. Like artists, like it really is in the set decoration sometimes. Like this video really, like he grabbed things that he had around his house. He grabbed things that he used to make the song and just put them in the field, and the video came out better than if he was just standing there, performing the song.
Exactly.
So it's really that simple, but those simple things add so much to the video.
For sure.
And make it your own thing.
Exactly. Right. Thank you. Yeah. And now that you mentioned it too, it's like, it also comes down to like practicality as well. Having the lamp is a cool detail to add, because it's just like, it's like, why would there be a colorful lamp in the middle of a field? There wouldn't be, but it's I think it fit with the weirdness of the song.
Yeah.
But it also works as a practical sense to key light me though, because if that wasn't there, it would definitely be a much darker scene. It'd be harder to see me.
Yeah.
And it probably would be a little grainier too. But introducing the light as a prop, but not just a prop, but a practical prop. Like you call this practicals in the cinema world, something, a light that is used for decoration, but as well as for the purpose of lighting. It's called a practical. And so placing that practical there adds to the decoration, but it also adds to the video and makes it look better as well. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. Also, another thing too, just to point out, is like my wardrobe. These glasses, they broke on me, so I have them, but they're broken, so I'm not gonna wear them. These are different glasses than that, but I love those glasses. I wish they did not break on me, but they did, and I don't have them anymore. I can't wear them anymore.
You hate to see it, man.
For real. My hair is getting to that point that it is in that video in terms of length. I told myself I probably wouldn't let it grow that long again, but I have not gotten a haircut, so.
But I think it looks good though.
Thank you.
I think it looks good.
It's a little different because I have like a wolf cut going on right now, so it's slightly different from this video.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's a visualizer. I don't know if there's much more. You helped me film this video if that wasn't already clear. You were the cameraman behind it, so I showed you what I wanted, and then we just kind of executed on it.
Yep.
I do remember when we were filming this video together, I was dancing a lot more, moving around a lot more, and you were like, bro, I can't get you in the frame.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you need me to do so that I can be in frame? And you're like, I guess like just not move as much. But I remember you being like, like I like how you worded that. You're like, I like that you said, like, what can I do to make it easier for you?
Yeah. No, cause real talk. Because real talk, that does help, and it makes me feel like I'm not messing up the entire thing. It's like, how do we, because we need to solve this problem.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it needs to get better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's part about being a director. I mean, not saying that like I'm in directing at all, like, or I am a director, but I am in terms of the music video. Like I have to direct my own music video.
Yeah.
Because there's no other choice. But even just like going back to when we recorded the FWB video for you, seeing Colin and taking all those like initiatives to do or to have shots set up a certain way.
Yeah,
it's all about like how can we make it easier for the talent, but also get what it is that we need.
Yeah,
yeah. So respect to Colin. Shout out Colin
for real. Yeah, for real.
But yeah, so that's the visualizer.
That's a visualizer.
So before we move on to the lyrics of the song, I wanted to mention that if you're enjoying this podcast, feel free to rate this podcast wherever you get your podcast. On Spotify, there is a 5-star feature. I use Spotify personally, so I would love to see more 5 stars on this podcast. So feel free to rate it if you're enjoying it. Now, let's move on to the lyrics of the song.
On to the lyrics of Losing My Mind. It is time. All right, you ready? First,
Wait,
whoa.
one thing I forgot to
Whoa.
mention, because we had talked about this before. One of the comments on this visualizer is heard this in a Uniqlo shop and full on vibed. Had to Shazam it. That is crazy. That like somebody heard it in Uniqlo. I've gone to Uniqlo before. I mean, like I know there's multiple Uniqlos across the globe, and I don't know where they get their music from or where they source it from. If like just the workers put on their own playlists, and
Right?
things like that. But just to know that like people are just vibing and Shazamming my music, like that's cool. That's cool. Shout out Uniqlo.
I'm so glad that we can see the Shazam, like how many times our songs get Shazammed, because like that is so cool.
Exactly.
That's one of like the coolest things.
And you can see location too, not like specific pinpoint, but you can see like country.
That's crazy.
And I think cities as well where they Shazam.
I didn't even know that.
We should look at it.
Yeah.
We should look at it. But yeah, okay. So that's
yeah.
That's that. Let's talk about the lyrics.
All right, lyric time.
Lyric time.
And the gas is so damn high that I won't leave this house. But that's how it's been anyway. Real. That's real. That's real.
No, that because you have to remember too. At the time of this song that I wrote it, this was June, July 2022, and so one of the prevalent things that was going on at the time was gas prices were getting really high.
It was really high.
It was really high, and so and I mean, a boy's broke. I mean, honestly, boys still broke out here. So
Me too.
We're just broke boys doing a podcast. So yeah, like
just broke boys doing a podcast.
And so yeah, the gas was so damn high. I didn't want to use my car because it's like, I don't want to pay for gas.
On God.
So I mean, I'm glad that people relate to it. I mean, but I'm not surprised because it's just that's what was happening at the time.
Yeah.
And then actually relating that to the whole placement, because how we talked about last episode, this song got placed on Spotify's Fresh Finds Indie playlist.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of factors that go into what editors place and like why they choose to place it. And I feel like the relatability of the song probably was one of those factors, because I actually pointed out that lyric specifically for my pitch, that the gas was so damn high that one, because I knew at the time that's just what everybody was kind of facing.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
Yeah. So did that help? Did it not? I have no idea. But if it means anything to anybody, maybe consider it. Don't take it as advice, but consider it maybe as a perspective.
Yeah. Try it out.
Try it out.
I was gonna ask, attached to that, are you an introvert or an extrovert? You like being out or you like staying at home?
I think it's like depends. Like I think I like hanging out. So when I work, for example, editing, I could do a lot of stuff on my laptop for editing, for writing emails, for business. Any business stuff is pretty easy to do on my laptop. Anything music related, producing, I have to do in my studio. But when I can do stuff on my laptop and I don't have to be in my studio, I like to go out because I just like being away from home, so that for some reason it just helps me focus better on those tasks. And sometimes you meet interesting people. I've talked to a few people when I go out and meet them, or not meet them. When I go out and like work, I'll meet just strangers, and I'll just talk to them. And everybody really is living their own life out here. Like, you think of these people as background characters to your life, but they think of you as background characters to theirs, because you start having conversations with them, and then you just meet some very interesting people. A lot of times I've talked to old people, and a lot of times too, old people just like being talked to.
It's true.
Old people are a little lonely sometimes.
We love you, old people.
We love you, old people. And so going out to like coffee shops and things like that to work, sometimes if there's an old person next to me, I will strike up a conversation and they'll have some words of wisdom. I like to ask people, like older people, what would you tell yourself? I'd be like, I'm 22 years old. What would you tell yourself at 22 years old, knowing what you know now? And I'll get some interesting answers.
You got anything good you could tell us that you remember?
There was this one older lady that said, don't trust everything you see. She said that because she got scammed like a good amount. And so that was one of the things that she said. Let me think. There was another guy that was like in his like mid-30s, and he told me learn common law. So like basically like he was saying how um a lot of times people don't know a lot of common law, and just knowing a little bit will help protect you in a lot of situations. So you
Huh.
just like learn common law. Um and
Noted.
there let me think. There is definitely there was one guy that was an entrepreneur that was like 40 years old, um who's like sold a few businesses and like started working on a comedy show. And he's like a comedian now, because he's always loved comedy, and now he's like taking the time now that he sold his businesses to use that money to build a home studio to film a comedy show. That's what he was telling me. um
That's dope.
and so he told me don't get married too young.
Ah,
And
that's fair.
so yeah, there's like I have met a few people, and I have got like I ask that question. I do ask that question pretty often because I think it's really interesting to get people's perspective. Um, and there was another old man that told me something that I can't unfortunately remember the old man's advice at this point. But yeah, so there's some cool things. But we're getting kind of off topic. The point that I was trying to make is that I I could be extroverted at times, but I do also like just kind of chill. Like I don't like having a lot of friends. Not that I don't like it, but like I don't have a lot of friends. I'm interested. Like I can meet people, I could talk to people, but in terms
Yeah.
of who I hang out with on a regular basis, it's really just you, Connor, uh, my friend Justin, that I made Gone But Not Forgotten with. Well, I made that song, but we like collaborated in terms of like, putting it out and things like that. And my girlfriend, like that's
Yep.
it. That's like then my brothers, like my family. So it's my family and like 4 friends. Like that's it. That's really all I hang out with. And I
Yeah.
don't, and that's all I need. That's really all I need.
On God.
So
I'm on that wave. I'm on that wave.
So yeah, I mean like am I an I wouldn't say like I'm an extrovert, but I wouldn't say I'm necessarily an introvert. I'm like an in between overt.
Yeah. No, I mean that's actually a good description for you for sure. Cause like you definitely can talk to people, have those conversations with strangers and stuff. But like, you also do be keeping to yourself sometimes, doing your thing with your friends, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Nah, that's a vibe.
Thank you.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
I have the question everybody has been wondering forever.
Okay. All right.
What the hell did you spend all of your cash on Sunday?
There wasn't like a specific thing, to be honest. And it comes to the whole entire song, because I know I also mentioned like broke my neck on a purchase, ignore the amount. I did do that actually, but not like at that time. This was lesson not learned. I did that like last year in 2023. But at the time of this song, like I mean, it's just an what's the word? Amalgamation.
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 I believe that's
actually,
right.
I actually never like thought about that word and how it's pronounced. Amalgamation.
I believe so.
So it was just an amalgamation. That doesn't sound right.
I'm pretty sure that's
Amalgamation. Nationwide.
I'm pretty sure. At least that's how I say it.
What? Imagine if you've been saying it wrong this whole
No,
time.
that's right.
Okay, amalgamation.
Dang it.
Amalgamation.
Yeah.
So it was just an amalgamation of my financial history of just how I choose to use my money. I'm definitely not irresponsible with my money, but I definitely could be more responsible with it. So when it comes to like what I say about spending money on a specific thing,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there is anything specific I was spending money on. It's more so just the actions that I do.
Yeah.
I like how I am, or how I was, actually I should say more so how I was with money. I have been trying to learn how to be more financially literate. I have a budget. I use it. Well, okay, so I have a budget. This month has not been on track with that budget because we like to eat out here. but I have been trying to really become smarter with my money, because you can there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. Rich people know how to make money. Wealthy people know how to keep money, you know? And so I'm trying to be wealthy in the future. And that all starts with learning how to be financially literate now. And so back then, not as much. Now, a little better. Um, Still need to work on the discipline part of it where I stick to the budget
Yeah.
to a T. But even just having a budget lets me know where my money is going. And it gives me more peace of mind.
Yeah.
Back
No.
then, I felt like I was losing my mind because I didn't have any financial plan.
Oh God. Yeah, I mean, I figured that there wasn't like actually something, but I thought it would be kind of crazy if you said something specific, like if there was something. But
Right.
actually going off of that, because I was gonna ask you this question later with a different lyric, but do you have any? Because I mean, since you wrote this song, you have dove into different financial avenues for music, and you've changed the way that you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any tips for smaller artists when it comes to the finances of this job?
I definitely am not a financial advisor, so do not
That's fair.
do not take my advice. Just take it as perspective. Don't take it as advice. But definitely, the financial aspect. I mean, is there anything specific you're trying like in terms of like budgeting? Is that what you're asking, or just like how to make money as an artist? Is that what you're asking?
Either one. Anything that you think that like you a year and a half ago would have benefited from like finding out that like yeah, I should probably implement this now. This would help my future self.
I will say that back then I knew what I knew now, but I just never took the actions on it like I am now.
Yeah.
So I what I say right now and what I tell you guys right now isn't gonna matter if you don't take action on it.
Yep.
And I say that because from experience, I knew it's not like I knew anything different back then. I knew what I was supposed to be doing back then, and I just wasn't doing it. And so that's the biggest difference is just taking the action. Because once you finally start taking the action, is when you see the change. But what that thing specifically is, I will say, is just like practicing monetizing and like sales and stuff like that, right? So, for example, we've actually briefly discussed this on one of our earlier episodes. I don't remember which one, but we had talked about how streaming, in order to make $1,000 from streaming, you need close to like 500,000 streams.
Yeah.
Right. Which is, I've attained it before. I think I'm sitting close to 5 million total streams now. But that's over the span of, I don't know how much, 7 years,
Yeah.
Of like being in music. I don't know how many, 6 years of being on Spotify. Like it's taking a minute, and obviously everything is exponential. Eventually, I'm hopeful. I'm pretty hopeful that like I think it's gonna happen at some point. But there will be exponential growth where like
Right.
I feel like I could make like 2 million streams a month. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or like 5 million a month. I think that's very attainable. But it's gonna take some time. And even once you get to that point, if you're making 2 million streams a month, that's from Spotify. Let's say from Spotify specifically, 2 million streams a month is about. I'm not even gonna say 2 million. 1 million streams a month is about $2,000 you're making a month from Spotify if you're just getting it from Spotify.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of streams. And if you think about the on a year time span, you're making $24,000 a year from 12 million streams a year.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of effort to get 12 million streams. But not saying that it's not doable. People do it. You got independent artists like Russ, for example, has 16 million monthly listeners.
Yeah.
You got Nick D, who's an independent artist. Connor Price, that's an independent artist. Who's that other guy? La Russell, right?
Yep.
Like he's independent, and so you can make good revenue from streaming. However, if you're a small artist, it's gonna take a lot of time and a lot of effort. I mean, everything's gonna take a lot of effort. I shouldn't even mention that.
Right.
Like, no matter what you go into, it's gonna take effort, but it's gonna take a lot of time to get to that point.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to chase streams, you should chase fans. I mean, chase fans, quote unquote, but you should try to generate fans.
Right.
You know, because the fans are what's going to get you the actual revenue.
Which is
how you choose to monetize your music. So, for example, merchandise sales, ticket sales. Let's say you wanted to start a podcast and have exclusive episodes, and you can have like what's the platform? Patreon, like monthly subscriptions, things like that. You know, products that you plan to sell in the future. You think about The Rock. He has Terramana now, right? Like his brand, like his fan base. He's an actor, but he made a whole business on liquor, you know, and that's $1 billion business, I think, at this point, you know, and because he has a dedicated fan base that was willing to go, you know, try it. And I've tried it. It's pretty good. You did a good job, Rock. It's pretty good. It's pretty good tequila. But anyway, like, you want to build a core fan audience because 1,000 fans, if they all stream your music, to get you 1 million streams, that's what 100,000 streams each person has to. No, that's not right.
That's not the math.
That's not the math. That's scratch it. 10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
right.
10,000 streams. Each one of those 1,000 fans needs to get you to stream your songs 10,000 times a month to get you to that $24,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know, 2,000 to 1 million streams a month. 1,000. Okay, let's regroup this math. 1,000 fans, 10,000 each one, 10,000 streams. They need to give you to make 1 million streams a month, which means $2,000 a month, which means $24,000 a year. Right? Those same 1,000 fans, because realistically, how realistic is it that each fan is gonna give you 10,000 streams?
That is not happening.
Very unrealistic. Even my favorite artists, I will not stream their music 10,000 times in a month.
That's a lot.
I don't even think I give out 10,000 streams on Spotify in a month. I don't stream anything for 10,000. The total amount of streams that I spend on Spotify in 1 month is probably not even close to like 1,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Or maybe it is. I don't know. Either way, it's not hitting 10,000.
It's not 10.
I know that for sure. And so those same 1,000 fans can each give you. Let me think of the math right here. Each of those 1,000 fans give you $2. If those 1,000 fans give you $2, you make that $2,000 from each fan giving $2. And what's more realistic, each fan giving you 10,000 streams or each fan giving you $2? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's like the avenue in which you choose to monetize your music makes a huge difference in how you're going to impact your income. You know. And so these are all things that I knew, but I just never implemented and never tried to aim for. Because what looks cooler? What can you show people more of? How many streams you have? How many month listeners? Like, it's a vanity thing, I think, a lot of times, where it's like a lot of times ego comes into play where you're like, you know, I want to hit 100,000 monthly listeners. I want to hit 500,000 monthly listeners because then people will take me seriously as an artist.
Yeah.
But even if you have, like, you know, higher numbers, like 100,000 monthly listeners is not going to get you a full-time income in music.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that's just not how it works. But those same fans that might be streaming your music, if you can give them value in products that they want from you, so like merchandise or shows, if you sell tickets,
yep,
you can then start generating some decent income for your music. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, you know, and I'm still a learning musician as we're continuing to do this. So don't take what I'm saying as advice. Take it more as my perspective. But that's just how I see it, you know. And so that's something I've been focusing a lot more of. And it gets me so excited. You know, I love the business aspect of this, but a lot of times artists don't think about the business aspect because a lot of artists are not, I guess, business minded. Nick D said this in his book that I thought was a really good point that he made. He's like, if I asked you, do you think you have what it takes to be an artist? Most artists will say yes. If you ask them, do you think you have what it takes to run a small and profitable business? They might take a minute to think about the answer.
Yeah.
You know, and overall, it's the same it's the same question, just worded differently.
Yeah.
Because to be an artist, you need to be able to run a small business.
Right.
But artists don't think of that as being a musician.
Right.
They don't think about like being a business as being a musician.
Yeah.
When it really much is. And like with any business, labels are going to invest in the artists that are acting as a business because they have more reliability into what they can provide for them in terms of income and things like that. So
they're a business.
Because they're a business, exactly.
And businesses want business. That makes sense.
Right. Yeah. So.
All right, cool. So yeah, no, I like talking music business with you, and I know that you enjoy talking music business. So whenever I can fit in anything about that, I'm gonna fit it in.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I love talking about it. It gets me so hyped.
So my next question is just going over the Spanish lyrics. Can we talk about the Spanish lyrics? Can you break that down for us, English listeners?
Yeah. So it says. I don't
know if you need it. But.
No. Well, you might as well. But yeah. So they say. I say, dicen que felicidad, which means they say that happiness no se puede comprar, so can't be bought, right? Pero en realidad, so but in reality but actually. Eso es mentira. That's a lie. So basically, they say that happiness can't be bought, but that's a lie. Now, again, we've covered this before. A lot of times, as artists, we exaggerate lyrics. We do mean it, but not to the fullest extent. Do I think money can buy happiness? I don't think it can make somebody happier, but it can make somebody less stressed for sure.
Yeah.
You need money to survive. If you have an abundance of money, you don't need to worry about your bills anymore or any medical expenses or anything that might pop up. Like, you're covered.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna be stressed. But that does not mean you're not gonna be or that does not mean you're gonna be happy though.
Right.
You can't just buy happiness. Because if you have a lot of money but you have no friends, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you're not gonna. Like, the money's not going to change anything.
Right.
And you can't really buy friends either. Some people might want to hang around with you because you have a lot of money, but if you don't have the money, are they still going to be around?
Right.
So like true friendship can't be bought either.
Yeah.
And so like anything that's worth having in life, money can't provide, but it definitely takes the stress out of life. In terms of, any necessities that need to be covered. And so, in the context of this song, it's obviously talking about financial stress. And so when you think about that context, it's not that so people, they say money can't buy happiness.
Yeah.
That's a lie. That's like the context of the song. Do I 100% like, would I advocate that? Like, obviously not, but like, if you're, again, in the context of the song, the idea is that there's still like money will stop the stress that I'm having right now.
Yeah. You won't be losing your mind. You won't necessarily be the happiest guy on earth.
Right.
But you probably wouldn't be losing your mind like you are. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Cool. That my question attached to that was basically that because I agree with you. I don't think like it can buy happiness, but we equate happiness to like not having stress. They're not the same thing, but like that not having stress sounds incredible.
Right. Right. Exactly.
All right. I don't remember if we've talked about this on the podcast, but normally when you use Spanish in a song, you're normally using it with English lyrics and using the both of them.
Yeah.
Is that an intentional thing? And if so, why do you use both of them in the same song rather than doing an English song or a Spanish song?
So I have released 2 completely Spanish songs before that include no English. So I've done it before, and I do like that, and I would like to do more of it. Except again, I'm not the most fluent in Spanish, so my comfortability of releasing completely Spanish songs is not 100% as to releasing completely fully English songs.
Yeah.
Because the Spanish songs take a lot more effort to create. And a lot more revision to create as well. I need to make sure that everything's right,
Right.
So it's easier to do like a hybrid of Spanish and English, but it's also just that's the music I like. I listen to hybrid Spanish music, English to Spanish, like bilingual music. You know, I'll listen to that. There's a few songs I could point out. Like Boy Pablo has a lot of Spanish English. Cuco has a lot of Spanish English. Ariel and the Culture has a lot of Spanish English. You know, and these are all people that I genuinely enjoy. Katsuoso, we talked about that guy last podcast. So these are all artists that I genuinely, the Marias, I just keep coming up with more of them. These are artists that I love their music, and they do that, Spanish and English. They'll have some full Spanish songs, some full English songs, but then sometimes they'll mix both of them in between. And I like it. And here's the thing, I know some people don't, because I actually used to be somebody that didn't like that, but it's also because back then I did not know the language as much as I do now, and I also did not care as much to learn it as I do now. And I know some people are like that, where they don't like necessarily the fact that they can't understand the entire song, but again, going back to what we talked about last podcast about making songs that, if I like them, somebody else out there is bound to like it as well. I approach it the same way, where if I make Spanish/English music, if I like it and I listen to music like this already, like somebody else is gonna like this. And it's worked out, especially in terms of editorial placements. One thing I've noticed, which I don't, again, do not take this stuff as advice. This is just experience. I don't know what goes on at Spotify. I don't know what the editors are thinking. But I have noticed a lot of my bilingual songs do get placements. Let's Stay at Home was a bilingual song. That was my first editorial placement ever, and that got on Bedroom Pop, which Bedroom Pop isn't even a Spanish tailored playlist, but it still got placed on there, because there's that bilingual. Well, I'm not gonna say that's exactly the reason why it got placed, but I did have bilingual lyrics. Losing My Mind got placed on Fresh Finds Indie, and that has some Spanish in it. And then No Quiero Sentirme Así, that's Spanish English, and that got placed on 3 different. I mean, those were more tailored towards Spanish. You got El Nuevo Indie, was it Novedades Indie, and then there was Indie Pop, actually, just the Indie Pop playlist, which that's not specifically Spanish tailored, but it's still. Anyway, those are all bilingual songs, and those all got placed, and that's almost half of my placements at that point. I've gotten placed on 9 editorials that up to now, and that's half of them. And so does it have any correlation? I want to say that's the reason why I do it, but there is some. I feel like there is some correlation, some benefit to it as well to do it. So I enjoy it, I love it, and if it helps me out, why not do it? So yeah, I mean, yeah, but overall, the most important part is the fact that I really like it. I like doing it. It helps me feel more connected to my culture, helps me learn, and I think I would like to hope that it's also helping other people, and inspiring other people to make, express more, if they're like me in a sense, where they are, Latino, but they don't, haven't delved into the world, how I felt like growing up as much as I might have wanted to. I would hope that it also inspires people to, start listening to more Spanish music. Be like the what's the gateway drug, I guess, the gateway music, my bilingual Spanish music, hopefully the gateway music to other people hearing more Spanish music.
No, that's awesome. So I do have I had a question attached to this, but we talked about it earlier, but I'm still going to talk about the lyrics really quick because they're gas.
Thank you.
I'm so fed up with this nonsense, been down and I haven't gotten up since. Am I going back with the progress, all this, spending all my credit like nonsense?
Yep.
Why'd you get in your rap bag here, man? Those are bars, bro.
Thank you.
Go work on that, man. Go work on that.
Yeah. One thing that I think sometimes I'd like to throw in little fast-paced sections in songs, like kind of rapping. I still sing in it, but like it's like a melodic kind of rap, I guess if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why my dad likes that, actually, my dad has told me a lot of times before where he likes it when I get into like those like faster paced things. So sometimes, I mean, I like it too, but I think sometimes it's fun to just be like, like my dad thinks this is like things like this are cool, so I'm do something like that.
That's dope.
And yeah, so I mean, those though I was pretty proud of that though, like spending on my credit like nonsense, because you don't use any cash or cents when you're spending on credit. Nonsense. What, bro? I'm mind blown. Yeah, no, and that's what I was doing.
All right, so like when are we getting a full 16-bar rap verse from Adriel? When is he just dropping the rap song?
I don't know, man. I need a reason to make a rap song. I've tried. I do have rap music. I have rapped in certain songs before.
Right.
But at this point, I feel like I'm not as into rap as I used to be. I still respect it, and like I'll catch up with some of the older rappers that I used to listen to every once in a while, like Logic. But then again, like my rap that I listened to is not the typical hip hop rap that I think most hip hop heads would identify with.
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people that are into that, like the hip hop Twitter community, probably does
right.
not talk about Logic or no, I don't listen to G-Eazy that much, but like NF. I'm
they
sure
roast all of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
So it's like I think one of the reasons. I mean, this is something I'm like we're getting into right now. I'm just now thinking about this stuff. So like this isn't I haven't thought about this before. But maybe one of the reasons why I don't get into rap is because I don't feel like I know enough about it to make a good song that is a good rap song. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. Actually, when you just listed those artists, and it kind of made me think, because you were talking about doing the little fast-paced stuff. Mm-hmm. Logic and NF are people that kind of do like the fast-paced thing. Yeah. I wonder if that's like that has a big influence on your taste and why you kind of do those little things.
It definitely could. I mean, I did like those. When I did listen to Logic and NF, I did like it when they would get into those really cool flows, really fast flows. That was impressive. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, maybe that's why.
Well, there we go. That's what I got for losing my mind for the lyrics.
Damn. So you know what time it is?
I don't know, Adriel. What time is it?
Quote of the week.
It's quote of the week time.
Sheesh. You started off last time, right?
That's true.
So I'll start off this time. My quote comes from John Bellion. I love John Bellion. He is one of my biggest inspirations. Still is. I don't listen to him as much anymore. I'm getting deja vu. I feel like I've said this before. I don't listen to John Bellion as much anymore. But I still have so much respect for him. One of my favorite artists in terms of everything, like in terms of his music and just his mindset and just who he is. He seems like a cool dude. He's the reason why I started making music. Anyway, enough of writing John Bellion over here.
Yeah, bro, chill.
But one of his lyrics is from a song called JT that I have, written down. And he says, "I've seen this in my head a million times, but to see it come to life is just insane." And I think about whenever I listen to that song, I mean, I feel like that song has always hit really hard for me ever since it came out, because he's at a place that I would love to be at, being able to just do this as a career, and live life the way I want to. And that one lyric, "I've seen this in my head a million times, but to see it come to life is just insane," right? Think about his journey, and like how much he's been able to accomplish and things like that. Like, I can only imagine how that feels, and I've had my little wins here and there. I finally hit 100K monthly listeners, like, last month, at the time of recording this. And then like, hitting my first million streams on a song, getting my first million streams in general, like, all together, when it came to YouTube, getting like a few like tens into the tens of thousands of subscribers. Like I've hit all these little milestones, and like I've seen it in my head before,
Right.
a million times. But like to see it come to life is still like pretty crazy. And I haven't yet to hit, you know, the bigger goals that I have in mind. But I can imagine when I do get there, it would feel just as crazy, if not crazier. Um, and yeah, just to like, I always wonder if I would get emotional reaching a certain goal. You know what I'm saying? Like if I, I mean, not that I want to get to the point where I'm famous enough that I could go to the Grammys, but let's say I produce a song that gets Grammy nominated and then winning a Grammy for that. I don't like, and just for context for people listening, my goals for music is not to become a superstar. I definitely do not want that fame. Like that seems like so suffocating.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I do want to make an impact, in with my music. I want to inspire other people to make music, and like, as well as I want to work with other artists eventually to produce music for them. Like, not to say I'm following the footsteps of John Bellion, but like I do like the fact that he's like, I mean, he has not released music in a long ass time.
Yeah.
Because he's focused on just being behind the scenes. And
Right.
I think that's great because he's making his bag. And he's not getting the repercussions of being hella famous. Bro,
Yeah.
like Memories by Maroon 5, billion stream song. John Billion, like that's his song.
Yeah.
He wrote it, produced it, and it's making the impact that he wants without him needing to be the face of it.
Right.
And I'm sure he's banking a lot off of it too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like that sounds great. I personally would continue with my artist like work too. I would still continue to make and release music. I think it's very important for me to just continuously make music and put it out there like
Yeah.
under my name as well. But I would love to make stuff for other people, and then potentially that'd be great if I got a song that was Grammy nominated.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a really cool accomplishment.
Yeah.
I don't need to be the artist, but being involved in it, like I think would be really cool. And I don't know, maybe I'd get emotional at that point. Who
Yeah.
knows? But yeah, that lyric, I've seen this in my head a million times, but to see it come to life is just insane. I love that lyric. It's always been one that like I just can't wait till I can feel what he means by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I'm with that. Kind of. Well, I mean, it's not piggybacking off of that, but like in conjunction with that.
Yeah.
I have this quote. I know that this is not my brother's quote. Like I know that, but like he said it on his content, so that's where I got it from.
Okay.
I don't know who said this first.
Right. Yeah.
But don't you dare give up on what you want most for what you want now. And I think that applies. That applies to a lot of people with most things. But I'm applying it to us in the artist career thing, and how you made Losing My Mind and freaking out about the financial situation sometimes. Like, just keep going, because what do you want the most? You want to be an artist.
Exactly.
And so you double down on it, and here we are, and we'll see where we go. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah.
I really like that one. I mean, yeah. Well, I have like two things I could say bouncing off of that. First is like that I can see that with like relationships. Some people will get into a relationship because they're just lonely. And that's what they want. That's the void they want to fill right now. But they don't say the quote again so that I can like use the words that you said.
Don't you dare give up on what you want most for what you want now.
Right. So what you want most, I think what people want most is a loving, supporting relationship that fulfills them.
Yeah.
But what people want now is to not feel lonely.
Yeah.
And so like that's like something that like I feel like is easy to like fall in, like a lot of people could probably relate to that in terms of a relationship.
Yep.
Now, going off of like the whole career thing, one thing that I constantly like, I guess I want to say advocate, that's probably not the right word, but something that like I'm not afraid to say is that like when it comes to like label and record deals and stuff like that, a lot of times when it comes to a deal, it's a big advancement, or not advance. Oh shoot, it died. Dang. For the rest of this podcast, we're gonna be slightly darker, I guess, with a boring background. It's all right.
What do you
Sorry.
mean? It's a beautiful gray background.
Beautiful
What?
gray background,
Yeah.
guys. Damn. The TikTok clips aren't gonna look as cool anymore.
Dang. Well, we better pump
Rap-
them full of energy then.
Right,
Oh.
you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Give it your best. Give it your best, Adriel.
Ah, was that pretty good?
Viral.
Thank you.
Viral.
Thank you so much. So yeah. So like when for people that don't know, a lot of times a lot of label deals come with an advance. They'll pay you upfront this amount of money, so that you know have something to fund your music and fund your life. But they're expected to recoup it, right? So you need to make back that money, for them, because it's basically what a record deal is most of the time. It's just a bank loan,
Yeah.
you know. So a lot of times though, artists are struggling. You know, artists are broke. Music is definitely not the most profitable business to get into.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so it's very tempting to want the financial security in the moment, but again, there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and so for me, being able to own all my masters and being able to generate all the revenue myself is very important. Because sure, could a label come by and say like, hey, we want to give you 50,000, you know, in advance or something like that, like so that we could take your catalog, or not take your catalog, but like help you out and stuff. Just the fact that I would have to owe that back, you know, it's not really my money, you know.
Yeah.
And so it goes against like what it is that I want, which is to be able to support myself. Am I really supporting myself if they're coming in giving me this money and I had to give it back anyway? You know, it
Yeah.
could help. I mean, like
Yeah.
it could help with my career eventually and things like that. Like I
For
think
sure.
I think it depends on what the deal is and like what the terms are.
And what you do about it.
In what I do about it, right? You know, so not saying I would never sign anything, but at the moment I don't see anything that would fulfill what my ultimate thing that I want most is,
Right.
which is to be able to have a sustainable, fruitful career through my music, you know. And so yeah, 100% agree with that, resonate with it for sure.
Me too, man. Me too. And I liked your two breakdowns of it too.
Thank you.
Cause yeah, no, I'm with both of those things too.
Right, for sure. Right. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are interested in getting early access to every one of these songs, every one of these songs, not these songs specifically, but I release a song every month on the 25th. So if you want early access to those songs before anybody else hears it, feel free to check out the link in the show notes below to sign up to my contact list. And please rate this podcast 5 stars if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I make music in my shed.